Hi everybody, today I thought I'll show you how to make these banners. I really love the way that they came out. They're so cute, they're very easy to make, and it's actually self-explanatory, but I thought I'll share some ideas and just the process of how I've picked these things out and how you can change it up. So if you want to do something like this, then what you will need is buttons, some lace and trim, a thread and some needle if you want the button to look authentic on the lace. Otherwise, you can just use fabric glue to adhere that. You can also, instead of lace and trim, you can also use fabric. You're going to need some paper scraps. So all of these I usually get from magazines. So I've got a wide variety. Some have already been cut into strips, and others I've just got some pages with some patterns on that really draws me in. You can also use scrapbook paper, piano paper, vintage wallpaper, just normal coffee and tea stain pages, book pages, whatever really you want to use. Okay, so to make these banners are very simple. I've already done a few there. The trick to it is just to pick papers that you really love, and you can get a lot from magazines or like scrap papers, scrapbook paper, things like that, any patterned paper. So just pick things that go together. If you are doing a single banner, you can literally do any one you would like. If you're going for something like this double banner, I would suggest picking something that's very neutral, and then the top part being more of a bold pattern or image. If you choose both that are very busy, they're going to fight against each other, and that's essentially not going to go well together. You don't have to go too complicated and think of colors that go together, although that will help and it will just look more cohesive and look more finished off. But you definitely don't have to think of colors that go together. Just put them against each other like this and that and see if you like it. If you do, go for it. If it's clashing, then change around and play with your papers. So it's very easy. To start off with, just cut out rectangles and try and pick parts of the paper that you really love. So there's not much there, so I'm putting that to the side, and I want to go more for this part here because there's more of a design to it. You can do rectangles of different sizes. I've always done the bottom one a little bit longer and the top one a little bit shorter, but you can play around with it. And you can cut them, you can use different widths and different lengths just to have fun. I'm actually going to cut that one a little bit shorter there. And this is essentially basically what you're doing. If you want them to all be the same size, you can definitely measure it or just hold it up against the paper like that. And then you can sort of see what size you would like it. This is definitely not something that you have to do. If you don't want to use a scissors, you can also use a paper cutter. That's completely fine. So just go around and cut them in different lengths. Now I want this one to be a little bit longer, so I am going to hold this up and cut it there. But it's always fixable. You can, if one's too long, you can always make it shorter. That doesn't matter. So just go around and pick your patterns. Okay, so when you've cut some rectangles, then the best way to start off with is, if this is your pattern, fold it in, and then from your right hand side give it a diagonal cut. Make sure you go from right to the corner to get those sharp and pointy edges like that. So let's say you're folding the pattern in and then you move it around this way. So this is now the open side and the pattern's on the inside. If you cut it this way, you're going to get an arrow. Now you can make a banner like that as well if you're going for that look, but just play around and see which one you would like. I prefer this one. So most of mine I'll cut that way. So just be careful if you're not looking for an arrow. Just think before you cut. That's the only thing. Let me just put my scraps to the side. So just go around and cut your banners. These are just a bit too thin. I don't really like them. I prefer these wider ones that I've done. But that's just a personal preference. So I've done a few others here. Now you can use any types of paper. So I've picked out the ones here that I really like, and then all you do is you're going to use some glue, and you're just going to put some glue on the top part and basically just position it wherever you would like, where it looks aesthetically the most pleasing to you, and just continue that with all of them. The next step is going to be to use lace or trim and see which one you would like to have there. So just cut a piece off. And then place it down to see if that's what you would like to go for. I think I like this the most, so I'm going to go for that. This is like an elastic trim, and I've actually bought it, and then I thought, oh, what was I thinking? Because I don't use it that much. But then I started cutting it up and using it for bits like this, and now I'm starting to really love it, because it just fluffs up so much and it just gives it a different look compared to like normal lace like that. Still love the flat lace, but this elastic trim is quite cool to work with. So your next step would be to pick a button out. So you have to think like which colors you would like to go for and how big you would like your button to be. I want to counterbalance these colors with, I think, a brown button, just to make it look a little different. So I'm just throwing out most of the buttons that I've got here and seeing which one looks the best. So I have gone ahead and picked more buttons out. Now you can see some of it I've stuck with brown. You can do a yellow, you can do a white, any button that really goes with it. It's up to you. My next step is to use some thread and a needle and then just sew the buttons to the trim, which I'll be doing right now. If you are not like really a fan of doing this part, because it can be very time consuming, but I find it very therapeutic. But if this is something that you don't really particularly love, Then you can also just use some fabric glue and adhere the button to the trim immediately without even putting any of this through. And you can also use a thicker thread, so if you've got embroidery thread, that works well as well. I usually just put it through like twice, sometimes more, just depends how I feel. Today I'm just going to do it twice because I feel like that white is more than enough, and then I just turn it around and tie it. That's the easiest way to do it. And I usually do a double knot. And then I just trim this extra thread off. I usually use fabric glue. Mine is almost finished, so we'll see if we're going to get anything out of here. I have to sort of open it up now to get something out of there. Yeah, I had this problem a day or two ago as well. It's just getting very clogged up. There's still some glue left in there, but not a lot. So this is where I'll quickly grab a brush and I'll be back soon. Okay, so I've got a brush and I'm just going to get some of the glue there and put it on the trim. And then get that down onto your banner. The next thing that you can do is use any stickers that you've got. Pick a word that really speaks to you and just add it anywhere on the banner where you would like. You can do it in the middle, off to the side, down. I like it there, I think. I think I like it more in the middle, maybe. I'm not sure if I like it to the side or more in the middle. But I think I'm going to put some glue on these stickers because they do not always stick as well as I would like to. But that's a easy problem to have or to solve. And there we go. As easy as that. I'm quickly going to continue doing the rest of this and I'll be back just now. Right, so I've just quickly cleaned up a bit and I've done all the buttons. I've sewn them to the trim and I'm just going to use my fabric glue to get them down onto the banner. Use an old brush if you are applying your glue with a brush because it can really ruin your brush if you don't wash it very quickly. It hardens it up and it's just never the same. So continuing with the stickers, just grab a sticker sheet, pick the ones that's gonna like basically fit on there and that speaks to you. You can again stick them down. I love that. Stick them down with some glue just to make sure that they're not going to come off. You can stick some of them off to the side. I love overlapping them. I think that really looks good if you overlap them like that. Oops. And there we go, all done. You can make them out of different types of papers, and you can also, instead of adding this word sticker, you can add a postage stamp. and make them out of some vintage papers like wallpaper, music, piano roll, old book pages, anything like that. And they look lovely on scrapbook layouts, project life, in junk journals, and just to finish off a page. And those are all the banners that I've made today. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Have a great day.